Liberate your quantum energy, the path to your desired reality. Most people have been approaching manifestation entirely backwards. They struggle with complicated techniques, chase after external solutions, and force themselves through rigid practices, all while wondering why their reality remains stubbornly unchanged. They've been taught that manifestation requires constant effort, perfect visualization, and unwavering positivity, a recipe that leaves most people exhausted and discouraged. If the reason you haven't been able to manifest consistently isn't because you're doing something wrong, but because you've been taught to lock away your most powerful creative force. What if the quantum energy that creates worlds has been within you all along, simply waiting to be liberated from the constraints you've placed upon it? The truth is that you haven't been failing at manifestation. You've been containing the very power that would make it effortless. At the heart of everything exists what quantum physicists call the quantum field, an infinite matrix of pure potential where all possibilities already exist simultaneously. This boundless field doesn't respond to your demands, your visualizations, or even your actions directly. It responds to the liberated flow of your quantum energy, the authentic, energetic expression of who you truly are. Most people approach manifestation through effort, pushing, forcing, striving, and struggling. But the quantum field doesn't operate on effort. It operates on resonance and liberation. When you release your quantum energy from the constraints of limiting beliefs, fears, and societal programming, manifestation becomes not something you do, but something that happens naturally through you. This fundamental shift changes everything. Manifestation isn't about acquiring power, it's about liberating the infinite power that already exists within you. The observer effect in quantum physics reveals something profound. Particles exist as waves of potential until they're observed, at which point they collapse into definite positions. This same principle applies to manifestation in your life. When you observe reality through liberated quantum energy, with expectation and alignment, you collapse those waves of potential into experiences that reflect your authentic energy. But when you observe from constrained energy, filtered through fears, doubts, and limitations, you collapse those same waves into more experiences of restriction. The difference isn't in the external world, but in how freely your energy flows as you observe it. Have you noticed how different your life experiences are when you feel energetically open versus constrained? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're finding value in these insights, subscribe to join our community of quantum creators who are learning to liberate their energy and manifest from a place of authentic power. Think of your quantum energy like water flowing through a system of pipes. Most people have installed countless valves, filters, and blockages in their energetic system. Beliefs about what's possible, fears about what might happen if they succeed, doubts about their worthiness. They then try to force manifestation through this constricted system, wondering why only a trickle of results appears. Here's the impossibility. You cannot force greater flow through a constricted system by pushing harder. The pressure will simply find the weakest points and create leaks or breakages. The elegant solution is simple. Remove the blockages, open the valves, straighten the pipes, liberate the natural flow of your quantum energy. When you do this, manifestation doesn't require force or effort. The full power of your creative energy flows unimpeded, naturally taking the shape of your desires. That's what quantum manifestation truly is. Not forcing outcomes, but liberating the energy that creates effortlessly. Neville Goddard understood this principle deeply when he taught about the feeling of the wish fulfilled, recognizing that when you liberate yourself from the emotional constraints of wanting and needing, you naturally embody the energy of already having. Joe Dispenza speaks about this same principle when he teaches that elevating your energy above the limitations of your past conditioning creates a new electromagnetic signature that attracts new possibilities. He calls this becoming supernatural. Abraham Hicks refers to this as allowing, removing resistance so that your natural energy can flow toward what you desire. These teachers, using different terminology and coming from different backgrounds, are all pointing to the same fundamental truth. Manifestation isn't about forcing energy toward your goals. It's about liberating your energy from the constraints that have been blocking it. Why is this simple truth so difficult for most people to implement? Because we've been conditioned to believe that control equals power. The ego is terrified of liberation Because liberation means surrender, and surrender feels like vulnerability. Our culture has conditioned us to tighten, restrict, and control, to plan every detail, to overthink every possibility, to protect ourselves from potential disappointment. We've been taught that the path to success requires structure, discipline, and rigid adherence to specific formulas. But here's the paradox at the heart of manifestation. The more you try to control energy, the more you constrain its natural creative power. By attempting to micromanage the manifestation process, you're actually restricting the very force that would bring your desires to you effortlessly. Liberation doesn't mean losing power. It means allowing your true power to flow unimpeded. The version of reality where all your desires have manifested isn't some distant future waiting to be created. It already exists right now in the quantum field. Quantum physics describes this through superposition, the principle that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. Your desired reality exists in superposition with your current reality, along with countless other possibilities. Your job isn't to create that reality through force or effort. It's to liberate your energy so completely that it naturally resonates with the frequency of what you desire. You're not trying to make something happen. You're allowing your liberated energy to collapse the wave function of potential into your experienced reality. This shift from forcing to allowing, from controlling to liberating, is what transforms manifestation from exhausting struggle into joyful expression. Most people approach manifestation through mechanical practices. They create vision boards with pictures of what they want, recite affirmations that feel foreign to their current energy, perform rituals that someone told them would work, all while their quantum energy remains constrained by deeper patterns. These practices aren't inherently wrong, but they often become empty gestures, disconnected from any real energetic liberation. If you're affirming abundance while your energy is constrained by fear of lack, you're sending mixed signals to the field. If you're visualizing your dream life while your energy is restricted by unworthiness, you're creating energetic interference. This is why so many people say, "I tried manifestation and it didn't work." There's a profound difference between going through the motions of manifestation techniques and actually liberating your quantum energy. Techniques without liberation are just empty rituals. Visualization without energetic freedom is just wishful thinking. The science behind energy liberation is more substantial than most realize. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that every thought produces an electrical charge in the brain, and every feeling produces a magnetic field through the heart. Together, they create your electromagnetic signature, the unique frequency you broadcast to the quantum field. This isn't mystical thinking. It's based on the measurable electromagnetic fields produced by the brain and heart. Your thoughts and feelings aren't just subjective experiences. They're actual energy with specific frequencies that interact with the field around you. When your energy is constrained by limiting beliefs, fears, or past conditioning, your electromagnetic signature reflects those constraints. But when you liberate your energy from these limitations, your entire electromagnetic field shifts, broadcasting a new signature that attracts different possibilities into your experience. The field doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are energetically broadcasting. Let's use a concrete example: career fulfillment. Many people try to manifest career success while their energy is constrained by fears of failure, doubts about their abilities, beliefs about what's realistic, and anxieties about financial security. They apply for jobs, network with contacts, update their resumes, or the right actions, but their constrained energy creates interference in the manifestation process. To manifest career fulfillment, you must liberate your energy from these constraints, not by ignoring them, but by consciously releasing their hold on you. When someone with liberated energy pursues career opportunities, they do so from a place of authentic power rather than desperation or fear. They recognize possibilities that constrained energy would miss entirely. They make decisions from inspiration rather than limitation. This liberation of quantum energy is what allows manifestation to flow without obstruction. Your ability to liberate energy is intimately connected to neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. When you consistently practice liberating your energy from old constraints, you're actually rewiring your brain to support this new way of being. Through mental rehearsal, vividly imagining experiences with all your senses while generating the corresponding emotions of freedom and power, you create new neural pathways that support your liberated state. Research in neuroplasticity shows that the brain doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and an actual one. This is how you can literally rewire your neural networks to support energy liberation. When done correctly, your body begins to expect freedom rather than constraint, producing corresponding biochemical changes that align your physical state with your liberated energy. Manifestation is not about asking the universe for favors or trying to bend reality to your will. It's not about following rigid formulas or performing perfect visualizations. Instead, it's about liberating your quantum energy so completely that it naturally resonates with the frequency of what you desire. The universe isn't some external entity granting wishes to those who know the right words. It's an extension of your own energy, reflecting back your dominant frequency. This reframe changes everything. You stop asking, "What do I need to do to get what I want?" and start asking, "What energy am I holding that's blocking what I want from flowing to me?" The focus shifts from acquisition to liberation, from doing to allowing. This is why the journey of manifestation is ultimately a journey of energy liberation, removing the constraints that have been blocking your natural creative power. Let me explain quantum superposition in simple terms. Imagine that every possible version of your life exists simultaneously in a state of potential, the version where your energy flows freely, where manifestation happens effortlessly, where you live in perfect alignment with your desires. It already exists. These possibilities aren't distant futures waiting to be created. They're present potentials, waiting to be collapsed into experience through your liberated energy. In quantum mechanics, it's the act of observation that causes wave functions to collapse into particles with definite properties. Similarly, it's your consistent attention from a place of liberated energy that collapses potential realities into your lived experience. This isn't a metaphor. It's a description of how reality functions at its most fundamental level. The quality of your energy, how free or constrained it is, determines which potential reality becomes your actual reality. One of the biggest obstacles to effective manifestation is the lack of coherence between the brain and heart. Most people live with mental chaos and emotional turbulence. Their thoughts pull in one direction while their feelings pull in another. They think about what they want while feeling fear about not having it. This creates contradictory frequencies that cancel each other out. HeartMath Institute research shows that when the heart and brain enter a state of coherence, when they produce harmonious, synchronized rhythms, the body systems function optimally, and our electromagnetic field becomes more powerful and organized. This coherence is what allows clear communication with the quantum field. Constrained energy creates confused results. Liberated, coherent energy creates clear manifestations. Most people never achieve their desires because they're broadcasting static rather than a clear frequency of liberated power. Your emotional state produces specific biochemicals that affect every cell in your body. When you feel liberated and powerful, your brain releases dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. When you feel open and connected, you produce oxytocin. These aren't just subjective experiences. They're actual chemical messengers that change your physical state and, by extension, your electromagnetic signature. Constrained emotional states like fear and anxiety produce stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which create an entirely different physical and energetic state. This biochemistry affects how you perceive reality and how you interact with the quantum field. Your emotional state becomes your point of attraction because it determines your overall frequency. This is why trying to manifest from a place of constricted energy rarely works. The biochemistry of those states creates an electromagnetic signature that attracts more experiences that match that frequency of limitation. One of the greatest challenges in manifestation is maintaining consistent liberation of your quantum energy. Most people experience brief moments of freedom and power, perhaps during meditation, in nature or in peak experiences, only to snap back to their habitual patterns of constraint. It's like briefly stretching a rubber band, only to have it contract again to its original shape. The constant shifting between states creates confusion in the field and delays manifestation. This is where practice becomes essential. Just as you wouldn't expect to develop physical flexibility without consistent stretching, You shouldn't expect to maintain energetic liberation without developing that capacity. Liberation doesn't mean never experiencing constraint. It means returning to freedom more quickly each time you notice limitation. The field responds not to momentary states, but to your dominant energy over time. When your energy stabilizes in a liberated state, reality begins responding in remarkable ways. Synchronicities increase. You notice meaningful coincidences that seem orchestrated. You receive intuitive nudges that lead you to exactly what you need. Opportunities appear that you couldn't have logically orchestrated. People who can help you seem to enter your life at precisely the right moment. Ideas and solutions come to you with surprising clarity. These aren't magical occurrences. They're the natural reorganization of the field in response to your stabilized frequency of liberated energy. The quantum field is constantly responding to your energetic state, arranging circumstances and events that match your dominant vibration. This responsiveness has always been happening. You're just now consciously participating in the process rather than creating by default. At this point, you've transitioned from positive thinking to energetic authorship. You've crossed the bridge from trying to manifest to allowing manifestation. You're no longer just imagining what could be. You're living from what already is at an energetic level. This shift is subtle but profound. Your perception of reality fundamentally changes because you're tuning into different aspects of the quantum field. Possibilities that you would have previously overlooked now become apparent because they match your new frequency of liberation. It's not that the external world is necessarily changing overnight, though it can. It's that your perception and interaction with reality are transformed. You begin experiencing the version of reality that matches your liberated energy, rather than your constrained patterns. This is the moment when manifestation shifts from something you do to something that happens naturally through you. Let's be honest, this is where most people get stuck. They intellectually understand the concepts we've discussed, but they struggle with the actual liberation of their quantum energy. Not because they don't believe it's possible, but because they don't know how to release the deeper patterns that have been constraining their energy. There's a profound difference between understanding the concept of energy liberation and actually experiencing your energy flowing freely, between intellectually knowing about quantum potential and feeling it coursing through you, between visualizing freedom and embodying it completely. The mind can understand concepts, but manifestation happens through the entire being, mind, body, emotions, and energy. This is why people can read dozens of books on manifestation and still struggle to create real change. The missing piece isn't more information, it's experiential liberation, the full body, multidimensional release of the constraints that have been blocking your natural creative power. To fully liberate your quantum energy, you need to access high-frequency emotional states consistently. Research in neuroscience shows that certain emotional states produce gamma-wave coherence in the brain, the fastest brainwave frequency associated with peak performance, heightened awareness, and integration of multiple brain functions. When your brain and heart achieve this coherent gamma state, your nervous system becomes highly receptive to new patterns. Old neural pathways, the physical basis of your constrained energy, can be more easily rewired. Your body becomes more responsive to your conscious intentions rather than your unconscious programming. This state of coherence is what spiritual traditions have called enlightenment, flow state, or being in the zone. It's a neurophysiological condition where manifestation becomes effortless because your entire system is unified in its liberation rather than fragmented into conflicting energies. You've probably felt that your manifestations take too long, that the gap between setting an intention and seeing results seems insurmountable at times. You may have wondered if you're doing something wrong, if perhaps you're not meant to have what you desire, or if manifestation only works for certain people. I want you to know that you've always been much closer than you think. The gap has never been between you and what you desire. It's been between your constrained energy and your liberated potential. You are not broken. You are not behind. You don't lack the ability to manifest. You've simply been approaching the process with constrained energy. The power to create has always been within you. You've just been accessing it in ways that create resistance rather than flow. The journey of manifestation isn't about becoming more powerful. It's about liberating the infinite power that has always existed within you. Let this be the moment when you stop trying to acquire power and start liberating the power you already possess. The version of you with fully liberated quantum energy already exists. You don't need to create it, you need to embody it. Imagine stepping fully into that version of yourself right now, not as a future possibility, but as your present reality. Feel the shift in your posture, your breathing, your facial expression. Notice how different thoughts become available to this liberated version of you. Experience how this version of you perceives the same circumstances you're currently facing. This isn't pretending, it's accessing a quantum potential that already exists. This moment of conscious liberation is a quantum event, a point where you can jump timelines by shifting your dominant energy. Your power isn't in what you do, it's in how freely your energy flows as you do it. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to type 777 in the comments below. This number sequence represents divine alignment and perfect timing with your liberated potential. It's a vibrational code that signals your readiness to shift from constraint to freedom, from effort to flow. When you comment with this number, you're not just engaging with a video, you're declaring your alignment with the frequency of liberated quantum energy. And as our community grows, this collective intention amplifies the field for everyone. There's power in numbers, not just metaphorically but energetically. Your comment becomes part of a collective frequency that supports everyone who encounters it. It's a small action that creates ripples in the quantum field, affecting possibilities far beyond what you might imagine. There is nothing to wait for. All versions of reality already exist in the quantum field. The version where your energy flows freely, where manifestation happens effortlessly, where you live in perfect alignment with your desires isn't a future possibility, it's a present potential existing alongside countless others. Manifestation isn't something you create through force or strategy, it's something you allow through liberation of your quantum energy. Think of parallel timelines or vibrationally adjacent worlds. Your consciousness is constantly shifting between these potentials based on your dominant energy. When you change your energetic state through liberation, you naturally shift into the timeline that matches that state. This isn't magical thinking, it's how reality functions at the quantum level. Your consciousness is the tuning mechanism that determines which potential reality becomes your experienced reality. You cannot fake this process. You cannot pretend to have liberated energy while maintaining inner constraints. You cannot affirm freedom while embodying limitation. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words or even your conscious intentions. It responds to your actual energetic state, the sum total of your conscious and unconscious patterns. This is why surface-level practices often fail to produce significant results. The quantum field isn't fooled by ritualistic behavior that isn't accompanied by genuine energetic liberation. Your power lies not in what you say or do, but in how freely your energy flows as you say and do it. This is both challenging and liberating. Challenging because it requires genuine inner transformation, and liberating because it means you don't have to perfect your external actions. You only need to liberate your energy, and appropriate action will follow naturally. I invite you to make this more than just a video you watched. Make it a portal of liberation that you stepped through. Let this be a marker in your journey, where you shifted from trying to acquire power to liberating the infinite power that has always existed within you. You are not alone in this journey. We are a field, a wave, a movement of consciousness evolving together. The very fact that you were drawn to this message is evidence that you're already aligned with its frequency. Remember that manifestation isn't something you learn. It's something you remember. It's your natural state of being to create reality through your liberated quantum energy. You are not becoming powerful. You already are power itself. You are not learning to create. You're remembering that you've been creating all along. The only question is whether you'll create consciously or by default. If you found value in this message, please share it with others who might benefit, subscribe to join our community, and most importantly, begin living as the liberated creator you were always meant to be.